All right. So I just got back from doing this show. This is why I'm in the attire that I'm in right now. Nonetheless, I have to talk about this because if you see me tweet about it, it proves me right. Let's just call it what it is. It proves me right. I've done many videos on this particular subject. Tokenism, tokenization of comic book characters in the books as well as out of the books and live action depictions. And you get weirdos who say, well, what if that person may have just been the best person for the job, man, you know, because race isn't essential to this character. It makes sense. No, you crackhead. That stuff is actively done. They are conscious of what they're doing. They're not just, oh, well, this person just acted, you know, they wanted the role and they auditioned and they got it. No, it wasn't something that simple. They actively seek this type of stuff when it comes to race changes of characters. Here you go, James Gunn, who just flat out admits it, and in which he says, 95% of all superheroes have historically been white. It makes sense. Characters who were originally white become another ethnicity to more accurately reflect our world. Now, never mind what he says is stupid. It does prove me right. It's a dumb statement. Don't get me wrong, but it does prove me right. Go look at all of my videos. I told y'all. I told you fools about this years ago. Nonetheless, what he is saying is the same thing that I've been saying. This is a conscious, active effort that they do. They're completely aware of, and they actively race change. Has nothing to do with the superiority of and acting skills of the actor portraying the character. No, it's just that they wanted the character that was historically white to be a race that they were not historically, so they changed them when it came to the live action depictions. And then you get goofballs who like, well, they're going to be mad either way, right? So you get goofballs if I go to my page here. What the hell am I doing? Like this weirdo who says, just create new characters instead, then nobody will complain. And then that's basically what a lot of folks like myself say, just make a new character, don't worry about race changing them. And then this cornball shows unoriginal characters, right? I mean, obviously tokenized Iron Man, tokenized Spider-Man. If I gave you the benefit of the doubt, I would say two of them are more original, but she's not the first Miss Marvel. And the original Miss Marvel was tokenized version of Captain Marvel. And America Chavez, I guess, is the one that's original if you don't want to say that she's like taking bits off of other characters. Nonetheless, they're all trash. That has nothing to do with it, though, to be fair. They don't understand it. Look, crackheads, please listen to me. I just want to get this I want to run this by you, and I want you to understand exactly what it is that I'm trying to say. Original characters. When we say create original characters, we don't mean create versions of the original character that's black, right? Or a woman or something like that. That's not what we're meaning. That's not what we are saying. Original character, new character means exactly that. New name, new backstory, new power set. Not, again, which is what we've been saying, tokenized versions of characters that already exist, right? So this is what gets you the Riri Williams. This gets you everybody's favorite tokenized character in Spider-Man. That's not what I mean and what others mean when we talk about original characters. Okay? That's not what we mean. So when you see folks like myself do these videos on why these guys are trash, these characters that you guys have created that are in the books that are just black or race swapped versions of a character that already exists, you got to understand that that's not what we're talking about. Miles, just because his name is Miles Morales and not Peter Parker, doesn't mean he acts different from Peter Parker than what we already seen. Plus his damn name is Spider-Man. There's a couple of different things that he does that's a little different, but he's still Spider-Man. There's two encyclopedias over there that DC and Marvel has. Big ones, too. They have characters that are all different races. They can expand upon those. They can utilize those, or they can create new ones. Think about the utter failures of white characters that have existed. There's been plenty of those that have never stuck, that have been white. Like I always say, some of these white characters have existed for decades upon decades. and they are loved by people of all different ethnic backgrounds, racial makeups, and all sorts of things. And they have the benefit of being developed for decades, and it has nothing to do with the race and everything to do with the fact that, well, that's what the creator set to do, and they did it, and they committed to it, right? Now, because there's no social ill to fall back on when you generally are, let's say, a white male character, all they have is the creativity to rely upon. You get these new black characters, well, they have to have these predictable narratives, or they're struggling with their race or something like. Same thing with the women that are being created or not even created. You know, it's kind of unoriginal characters that, oh, well, they have to struggle with their femininity and all of this stuff. Or not even femininity, they have to struggle with it's more of a feminism. And they don't get it. They just don't understand that original characters aren't versions of the characters different versions of the characters that already exist. No. That's not what it is. There are other characters that are original, that are black, that are women, that are of different ethnic backgrounds and makeups. You can utilize them, or you can create new ones. You see the countless amount of independent artists that are going around, independent creators and writers that have those are original characters. Obviously, they can't have the IP of the Marvels or the DCs of the world. Are they this politically and socially? They have to lead with that, right? They're trying to be these heroes, right? They create heroes out of themselves. Look at me. I'm fighting for diversity and inclusivity by race swapping this character. I guess they're so controlled by that they become talentless hacks, and they have an inability to be original in any way, shape, or form. So what do? They have to race bend. Because that's the way they make their move. God forbid they have an original black character that has always been a black character and expand upon him. Does that mean that he sticks just because he's white or just because he's, non-white and he's black, let's say? That don't mean he gonna stick. Again, going back to the point I just mentioned, there's plenty of white characters that haven't stuck because they're trash. And it happens. But you try. You give it a shot. Unbelievable. But it does prove me right. I will keep driving that point home. You look at my videos, you see these idiot comments when I talk about the live action depiction of a character that has completely been race swapped, and these fools said, well, that person's doing that. Race isn't, it doesn't matter, right? Because race isn't essential to the character. So it's okay. Race isn't essential to the character. And that person that is acting in that role just happened to be the best person for the job. Shut up. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing. That's what you conjure up in your mind to try to make sense of this active tokenization. When they dangle this board in front of you, like, look at this. The only characters that you see are as legitimate characters are white. So here's this little bone that we're going to dangle in front of you, and we're just going to race swap the already classically white character that we spent damn decades in developing. Now here's yours, because now you have to be validated by way of this character, because God forbid you blacken like white characters. Or like an Asian character, or be Asian and like a white character, or be white and like a black character. God forbid that we relate to these characters in ways that have nothing to do with this. But they are who they are. Comic books, they're a visual medium. So we see that, we know what they are. And then when you make them not what they are, when you try to do these live action depictions, we can sniff that out, and we're going to call it out. No matter how mad you get. But I appreciate Gunn for, if nothing else, proving me right that that's an active thing that they're doing. So now y'all got to shut the hell up talking to me.